Hello everyone, welcome to yet another learning session with online biology tutorials. In the previous video, we have read about translation. Now in this video, we will complete our translation process because we are still left with elongation and termination. In the initiation process, we have seen that initiation complex was formed. Now initiation complex is a one which has functional ribosome, messenger RNA is also there, and charged tRNA is also there attached at the P site. Okay, now we are discussing the elongation process, right? So elongation process is a one where this amino acid unison or union will continue, and as a result of which polypeptide will be formed. Now this was seen in the initiation complex only because the first amino acid comes on the AUG codon. So transfer RNA has anticodon loop which contains anticodon that binds to the codon of the messenger RNA. Opposite to the anticodon loop in tRNA, amino acid site is there where amino acid is there. Okay, so that amino acid I have shown you with a red block. Now our first amino acid will always reach peptidyl site. The second amino acid will come to the A site of the ribosome, which is aminoacyl site. Okay, now the second codon here, in the case of messenger RNA, it is CUU. So as per the base pairing rule, it will be GAA in the case of anticodon loop of the transfer RNA, and this will bring the amino acid which will be leucine. Remember, amino acids are brought as per the codons. This is very important because we read the genetic code table that was applicable on the messenger RNA. So here methionine came, right? Because the codon was AUG. Here the amino acid will be leucine. Okay, now our P site and our A site, they are already being full. Third amino acid cannot come. But prior to third amino acid, the next step has to happen. Okay, now what will happen? The P site amino acid, now you must be remembering that each amino acid has N terminal and C terminal. Okay, suppose this is our amino acid at the P site. Okay, this is suppose our methionine. R refers to the side chain, so I am not drawing it right now. And our second amino acid must be having the same structure because the basic skeletal in the case of amino acid remains the same. Okay, so this is our amino acid at the A site. Now what will happen? Peptide bond will be formed between both. As a result, the amino acid at the P site, which is methionine, and the amino acid leucine, which is there at the A site, they will be joined together. Remember, while giving examples, first amino acid you have to take methionine only. Second, you can take of your own choice because initiator codon is always methionine. So amino acids, both the amino acids, they will unite by the peptide bond. That's what I have shown you in step number 2. See here, the aminoacyl site has two amino acids which are shown in the form of block, right? The red block is a one which is methionine and blue block is a one which is leucine. Okay, so it would be better if you could write them here because it will be easy for examiner to understand that you have drawn it correctly. Remember, when translation will come in the board examination as a 5-marker question, don't forget to draw the diagrams because diagrams are equally important. You need to write in the step format, that will give you maximum marks, and along with that draw diagrams and figures wherever necessary. Okay, so in the elongation step only, what will happen? Peptide bond will be formed and the enzyme which is going to help in this process later, I mean a little later, once peptide bonds are formed, there is an enzyme which is known as peptidyl transferase. As the name is giving us a sense that it will be doing some transfer, and this transfer will be from amino acid P to A. See here, the P site here, it is empty. The transfer RNA is empty now because its amino acid has gone to the A site, and A site is a 2 amino acid containing site now because the peptide bond is formed between them, right? This is happening in the elongation process. Just after this, what will happen? The ribosome assembly will move a little ahead, right? It will move one codon ahead, right? Ribosome will walk. You can see here that earlier it was not shown to you these UUU bases, but now you can see because the ribosome has moved forward. Another change which you can notice in step number 3 is that the P site of step number 2, right, it had a vacant tRNA because it already gave its amino acid. So the transfer RNA, which is of no use, as the ribosome assembly will move ahead, this will become the part of E site or the exit site, right? This, as the walking is continued, this transfer RNA has come to the E site. And of course, when walking is happening, then A site material will come at the P site, and that has been shown here. See here. Here it was in this position at the A site, and in the step number 3 it is there at the P site, right? That means our A site is again blank, right? And what will happen? This is UUU codon on the messenger RNA now. So of course, as per the base pairing rule, the anticodon will be AAA and the amino acid will be phenylalanine. Means once the amino acid will come to P site, then it will come to A site, then the peptide bond will happen and dipeptide will be formed. This dipeptide will be transferred to the A site with the help of peptidyl transferase. Once this transfer is done, the tRNA of P site will become vacant, right? And this will make ribosome move further. It will make 3 nucleotides ahead because one codon is made up of 3 nucleotides. The components of the P site means the transfer RNA of the P site will now become the component of the E site. The components of A site will become the component of the P site. Means at one step A site will be free. Now the next amino acid will come and it will be united here. Okay, now the same process will continue. Okay, let me draw one more step here for you so that you can understand it. So in the next step, let me draw it with red only because that will be easy for you to correlate. So this is our larger subunit and this is the smaller subunit, and we have messenger RNA in between, and the polarity of messenger RNA will be from 5' to 3', and we have drawn AUG as the starting one, then our CUU, UUU. Remember, in the next step, we will not show the transfer RNA on the E site because this is of no use, and once it comes to the E site, E means exit. From there, the transfer RNA will be freed, it will go in the cytoplasm and it will be available for the next round of the translation process. Okay, so here what do we have here? We have a P site and it has 2 amino acids on it, and that's what I have drawn here. Okay, this was there. Now what will happen? The next, this amino acid which is holding the phenylalanine, this will form a peptide bond. Means the peptide bond is going to happen between the blue one and the black one. Okay. Now, of course, ahead to this step, what will happen? Let me make everything in the form of tripeptide for you. So overall, in the end, what will happen? This will have a black one, right? And then a blue one, and then a red one. Okay, so you can see that our polypeptide is ready with 3 amino acids, right? So again the same thing will happen. Our pre-RNA, you can see that it has become vacant now. That means this is the time for ribosome to move one codon ahead. When moving ahead, it will be requiring energy. Remember, the energy will be given in the form of GTP. Once it will move ahead, the components of A site will become the component of P site. The P site will become E site. Okay, now again the A site is free. So this process goes on and on and on until the terminating codons UAA, UAG and UGA are not reached. So as soon as these terminating codons are not reached, all the codons in the messenger RNA, they are being read. Okay, so prior to AUG we have UTR. Beyond these terminating codons also we have UTR, because these are the sequences which are not going to get translated. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear with the elongation step, which is the main step of the translation process. Now the next and the last step is termination. Termination means the halt in the translation process has to happen, because once in the messenger RNA, suppose all the codons are being read and now UAA has come. Now UAA codon doesn't code for any amino acid. So that means transfer RNA will not go to bring the amino acid, because there is no amino acid for UAA, UAG or UGA. That means the transfer RNA will not come. And as a result of what? Certain release factors will come. Remember, if we are talking about prokaryotic termination, then the release factor is only 1, which will bring the termination. Means release factor will be 1 for UAA, for UGA and UAG. For all the 3 terminating codons in prokaryotes, only 1 release factor is there. This release factor will release the ribosomes so that they should be freed. Once they are freed, means once they are dissociated into the larger and the smaller subunit, they are no more functional now. So messenger RNA will be freed, right? And ribosomal subunits will dissociate. Transfer RNA has not come because there is no amino acid for these terminating codons. So all the things that united, they will be dissociated, and this will bring an halt to the translation process. Remember, if you are writing for eukaryotic termination process, the release factors will be release factor 1 and release factor 2. Release factor 1 is for UAA and UAG. Right? And release factor 2 is for UAG and UGA. See here, UAG and UAG here also. That means if the terminating codon is UAG in the case of eukaryotes, then both the release factors can help. Release factor 1 or release factor 2. Whenever in biology we are using factors, that means we are talking about some proteins. So this is the protein in a cell which is helping out in the termination process, and this is known as the release factor. So in eukaryotes also, all the assemblies that were being done, they will be dissociated, and this will ultimately bring an end to the translation. Once the translation process is done, right, our polypeptide is formed. It is not at all functional. It is made functional by which process? Post-translational modification. Okay. So post-translational modification is a step that happens after the translation, and this will make the polypeptide functional. How this is made possible? Now certain groups are added, certain groups are removed. Some modification in the components, some modification in the amino acids could also be done, and thus a functional polypeptide is formed. Here the post-translational modification, it happens in the Golgi body of a cell. That is why we have read in the lower classes that Golgi body, it helps in the post-translational modification. So once it is done, proteins are made functional, and they can play a wide number of roles. That they can be accommodated as a protein of the plasma membrane. It could be intrinsic protein that will stay in the cell. It could be extrinsic protein that will move out of the cell. Protein can also function as enzymes. They can also function as antibodies. They have diverse role to play. Okay, so translation is a very important process. The diagrams are important, the text is important. I hope by watching the video you can frame your sentences the way I have spoken, and you can use all the figures that I have drawn. Stay tuned for the next video. In that video we will be discussing about few antibiotics and at which step of translation they bring and halt. Thank you everyone.